So the anniversary update has been launched, and well, the main content is going to be added in about 2 to 3 weeks from now. However, we will get a free implant from the login rewards, and today we also have received some very nice login rewards as well. Now, today I'll be running those Wasteseeker anomalies, and I was very curious to see how will a Dominix navy run that. After all, it is a drone boat, it is a fairly new ship, and recently it has been buffed. It has received the siege mode, so should honestly be a interesting little test with the Dominix navy. Now, this is the Dominix navy that I usually fly. This is my PvP ship, and I have slightly modified the build for today. Now, the Wasteseekers are actually kind of serious, they can be dangerous, so I have kind of prepared the ship for the job. 3 webs, of course the siege mode is there, 2 drone M-fires, and I have some other utility modules for the drones. Here's the siege tactical module that originally was supposed to be a special module only for the Dominix navy, but that's been changed, and now this module is available for all the navies and all the striker battleships. I will be using those new drones. Obviously, I have the original drones still here. I have the whole beehive actually. I have a lot of drones. We'll add even more when I have enough time to do that. Here you can take a look at the low slot modules and at the rigs. Again, this is my PvP Dominix that I usually fly. 2.6 thousand cold DPS, slightly reduced DPS, but I have gained extra drone tracking and I also gained extra drone speed. I also have a large booster for the large Wasteseeker that I'll be doing in a different video. But yeah, let's see how this thing will work. Now, the previous Wasteseekers that I've done, I've been running them with, I think, the Megathron Navy, Megathron Striker, and I also used the Macarial and some other ships. But I haven't used a Dominix Navy. I also plan to use the Hyperion Bomber. I'm very interested to see that tank. And I have a very interesting build idea for the Hyperion Bomber. Should actually be quite interesting to check out, especially with the Wasteseekers being challenging. That ship can technically be very good since it has a crazy amount of tank, and I think that tank will be very useful for the Wasteseeker anomalies here. Now, this ship is obviously a not exactly a sniper, but I have 84 kilometer drone control range. So the idea is to shoot down the small ships first. The small ships are the most dangerous ships that usually carry webs, scramblers and stuff like that, so those ships should be your primary target when you're running the Wasteseeker anomalies. And this is definitely applicable to any other ship that you can fly. I mean, always make the small ships the primary and then slowly make your way to the large ships. However, the thing with the navy here, the thing with the navy ships in general, they have buffed base resistance, which means that you technically don't have to fit a lot of tank for those, since you already do have some pretty good default resistance, and also besides resistance you also have very good shield passive recharge. So technically you can get this ship to be a shield tank if you really like. In my case, I don't have any repair module installed. I don't need that. Any little damage that I take will be passively repaired very quickly. After all, as I mentioned before, this thing has very nice passive recharge. Can enhance that with those shield generators. I actually thought of using a generator just to have that module installed on this ship, but ended up not using it. I just wanted to go safely with the extra utility modules for the drones, extra speed, extra tracking. After all, those small drones can be kind of problematic. Originally I thought that I might have to use medium drones, but good thing is I didn't have to use the medium ones. I'm using large drones and they are working just fine. Those assault hurricanes, I mean, I'll say this right away, get those drones while they're cheap. I mean, I say cheap, they're definitely cheaper than the offense or ogres, for example, and definitely cheaper than other normal drones. At the moment, they do pull their weight for sure, they get the job done. And the fact that they're doing omni damage like missiles makes them very useful against these drones, since these drones are known to have some nasty tank, and they also can carry reactive hardeners. In this case, on this ship right now with this build and with my current drones, those reactive hardeners on the drones, on the enemy drones, are not that useful against omni damage. So that's one thing that does work really well with the Dominix navy. And I'm still going to say that the developers made the drone boats their favorite. I mean, first it was the Macarial. I'm fairly sure one of the developers loved the Macarial, and the cannons, autocannons, projectile cannons have been strong, and now the developers have switched to drones. I find that really funny in its own way. Now I have the bomber tactic implant installed. I just have it just in case, you know, just in case if I accidentally go into low sec and if there's an Astor or Stratius, I can just delete that off grid. This thing can have some pretty nasty DPS. Not exactly my highest DPS build right now, but this thing can have some pretty devastating DPS with the bomber tactic implant. It's just nasty to say the least. It's able to one-shot battleships in some cases. It can one-shot the average battleship. The more tanky ones, you know, it can take a while. It can take a bit of time, but the average battleship is going to get yeeted without much of a problem with the bomber tactic implant, because the bomber tactic implant is a little bit on the crazy side when it comes to the amount of DPS that it can deliver. Even now, after how long it's been, 2 years after implants been released, bomber tactic still wild. Well, I mean, I say jokingly that developers love drones now. It's the anniversary and we didn't receive Titans. Yeah, I'm actually not that sad about that. I'd rather take some new destroyers and battleships than Titans. So it's going to be a very interesting 3rd and 4th week of the anniversary, that's for sure. Very curious to see what type of destroyers and battleships we will get. If we get a Black Ops Macarial, I'll be happy, that's for sure. But one more meme that's about to be a reality, I guess. And so far this space potato has been doing pretty well when it comes to the PvE aspect. It performs exactly the way I did imagine that it would perform. I pretty much expected the ship to run well. Against those Wasteseekers, you really have you do have a bunch of options. However, I would actually say drones might be the safest bet at the moment. There are obviously a few exceptions. You can technically build those very long range Macarials that can hit 300-400 kilometers. That might actually be the safest way, but that will definitely take the most time. I feel like the Navy battleships, if you are aiming for solo, the Navy battleships, the bomber battleships are kind of meant to do content like this. So they might be the best bet the best ship for this type of content, since the navies and the bombers, the marauders, have something in common. They're very tanky. Obviously the marauder will have much more tank, and that's to be expected, much better active tank. But if you're aiming for something to snipe, then the navy is definitely the nice choice, because the navy will have some very good passive shield recharge, and it does have some pretty good DPS. Very easy to actually tank these anomalies now with a long range ship, and this is technically not really long range, more like medium distance, medium range, because obviously this is not a sniper build on this Dominix. This is my PvP Dominix. I just decided to use it for this because I don't have any other navy Dominix for this purpose, but it still gets the job done with 84 kilometer range. I barely take any damage. The large drones that I use are just cutting through these drones like no big deal. I think I can actually add more DPS and be faster while running the Anomaly. I just didn't really feel safe to go with a full DPS build with no other utility module, so I added a bit of extra tracking, a bit of extra speed for my drones, a bit extra range and stuff like that. But now, after testing it out, I can say you can definitely go full DPS with this ship, with this exact build, and if you aim at the smaller ships first, it shouldn't be a big problem. Always land at 100 kilometers. Don't land at 0. I mean, if you're flying a Marauder, you can land at 0. Obviously, you should be able to tank that. I'll test it out. But for the Marauder, I have a different build in mind, since I still don't really like to go at 0 versus drones, especially when those smaller drones can be a little bit fast. So I will do a very interesting little build. I don't want to spoil much, but I believe it should be quite interesting to check how that thing will work. I'm just not really sure if I should fit a micro warp drift or a afterburner, because I like the afterburner a lot more because it doesn't kill my capacitor, but the micro warp drift gives some very good speed, and you really want to save capacitor on your ship when you're flying a navy, when you're flying a Marauder, because you know the capacitor is what's keeping the repairs active. So that's one thing that I just haven't decided on yet, but maybe I'll do it tonight. Maybe tonight, we will see. And I really want to check out those large sites, because they're the most interesting ones. Because for the Marauder, the true tank test will definitely be the large Wasteseeker Anomaly. This is a medium one, just testing out to see how this thing will work. So far, I can tell you, I'm very happy with the performance of this thing. And also a very good thing about the drone boats, they don't have any debuff when it comes to the weapon systems, because those drones will be focusing your ship, and drones don't shoot your own drones, which is a good thing. And that might be the single most important advantage of drone boats over any other weapon system or ship type in the game, because drone boats really don't have to worry about any tracking disruptor, you know, things like that. So you can just launch the drones and pretty much relax, because those drones are going to be saved. Not saved, they're going to be saved, my apologies. What was I even thinking in that moment? I have no idea. I'm kind of distracted doing something else at the same time. But anyway, so far, I mean, I did do Wasteseekers before with a Nestor, I believe. And the Nestor, I mean, the Nestor is still one of my favorite ships. Unfortunately, the Nestor is a bit expensive. I forgot how much that thing costs now. I used to have one. I'm feeling a little bit sad that I sold it, because I really liked the ship, but at the same time it's not really a ship that I felt really comfortable in flying, because it was just way too expensive. Such a big ship. It has some nasty DPS. The Nestor, I think the Nestor is the second highest drone DPS drone boat battleship in the game. The first one is now the Dominix Navy, and the third one is the Rattlesnake. Based on skills, the Dominix Navy right now should be outperforming the Rattlesnake by a lot, since it received the siege mode, which basically increased the DPS on this thing by quite a bit. But yeah, the Nestor is definitely a very interesting ship for this purpose, and if you have the Nestor, you can definitely use it. It will work just fine. I'm thinking now. I'm thinking, what's the next implant that I should improve? I feel like from the anniversary, from the login reward, I will get the defense implant for sure, because that's the new implant, and it's a passive one. I need the defense implant. Will enhance the survivability on my navies and on the Hyperion bomber by a lot, so I'm very excited to get that implant. And we also have we actually received so much already from the anniversary. You know, I was a bit harsh. I definitely was a bit harsh on the last videos regarding the anniversary, because you know, when you have the anniversary of the game and when something big gets cancelled, usually that means, you know, it's just bad news, not just for the player but for the developers as well, because that can definitely cause a lot of chaos. But so far, at least from the rewards and from the login rewards, it's okay, it's nice. A free implant that you can level up to level 25, I believe, because today we have received those level up materials, 100 of them. I'll use that to level up the defense implant. So I guess that's fantastic. Everyone gets a free implant, and that's pretty nice. That's honestly pretty nice. Now everyone can pick the implant that they want, and honestly, blue level implant is nice. It's usable. Level 25 is also really good, so you can pretty much pick whatever implant you want and use that. Much better than a free nanocore, I would say, but who knows, maybe we do get some free nanocores down the road. I mean, last year we got those illusionary ghost nanocores. Maybe we get other nanocores this time around. But yeah, I mean, I have been enjoying the anniversary so far. Pretty happy about the free stuff, and there is more to come. This is the first day already, and it's been pretty decent. So yeah, I'm personally looking forward to see how the defense implant will work. I mean, I'm not going to get on any other chance to use the defense implant, since the test server is gone now, unfortunately. That's offline forever now. It kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So now I just have to test out things here. I don't know about Titans though. I probably will not fly a Titan. Probably won't have a chance to do that anymore in this game. And it kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. We will still have a nice image of the Titan when it's released, I guess. Or maybe I do fly one, who knows. If anyone wants to like land a Titan for a video or two, I'm down for that. Should be pretty fun. That should actually be pretty fun. Well, the Dominix Navy, definitely a fantastic PvE and PvP ship. In my case, primarily a PvP ship, but you know, if you want to use this thing for PvE, it is not going to disappoint. That's one thing that I'll tell you right away. This thing never disappoints. It's a beast, really. probably the nastiest Navy battleship in the game right now. And I have an nanocore, but it's just the average nanocore. I don't really use. Didn't really upgrade it because I'm aiming for a different nanocore, but this one will do. Any nanocore is going to be good enough for me, honestly. So, but I can tell you that this thing is nasty for sure. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the Dominix Navy, and I'm very glad that I actually went back to the that I actually went back to drone boats.
We're being warp scrambled.
Still cannot believe that I've actually, over the last 4 or 5 years, that I've literally, I mean, I was maining cannons, missiles. Well, I started with drones, obviously, railguns, lasers. I think I mentioned all weapons, and also had decomposers at one point. I actually did use decomposers for PvP back in the day. I've literally had the chance to fly ships with all weapon systems, and I use them primarily. But at the end of the day, I think I'll just stick to my good old drones. Drones never disappointed. Even back when players were saying that drones were bad, I was still using drones. How did the tables turn? The drones went from the worst to the best. I mean, I say the best. There is no best weapon system. We all know that. There is no best weapon. But bomber tactic, though, that implant is just nasty. Let me tell you, that little implant is bad news to whoever you're launching drones at, because that implant is just wild. At least for now. We will see if that will ever be changed. Maybe yes, maybe not. Who knows? You can see how much damage I took there. I did let them get close to me a little bit. They didn't do much damage. I think I can quite literally passively tank the medium one at this distance, because the passive recharge is... I think the passive recharge can pretty much do its work at long distance, the way I'm doing it now. Obviously, on a large Wasteseeker, I'm not going to go with no booster, with no shield booster or armor repairer, because the large one can actually be the large one can be dangerous. So I have to be very careful about the large one. But for that I do have the good old Hyperion bomber, my tankiest ship. That thing is just wild. I mean, I think I'm at 9,000 repair per repair or something like that. I have to check the numbers again. But I did some wild thing on that ship. Has an nanocore that I'll gladly use for the. I'll gladly use that nanocore for that ship. I'm so glad that I picked the nanocore for the Hyperion bomber. Well, for the Hyperion back in the day, I didn't really know what ship I would use, and the Hyperion just seemed to look the best, so I just picked that. But yeah, this thing gets a big pass from me, big thumbs up actually, for being a fantastic PvE ship. I think most of us already expected this result. After all, it is a Dominix, a drone boat, and definitely I don't have a rattlesnake. If I had a rattlesnake, I would try this out with a rattlesnake. But I would say, based on the stats, based on numbers, based on the nanocore that you have, this might actually do the fastest right now when it comes to the anomalies. Of course, there is also the carrier, but not all of us fly carriers. I don't have a carrier, you know. So when it comes to battleship, this might very well be the fastest clearing battleship that we can fly. And well, with that being said, that would be the medium Wasteseeker anomaly that is currently ongoing. This thing is just amazing. I mean, it's a Dominix. What can we all expect more from a Dominix? It's just an amazing space potato. And well, next time I will be running the large one, hopefully, with the Hyperion bomber, or maybe I'll try the large one with the Dominix and then the Hyperion bomber. We will see. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.